Hey all, here OS Reviews. In this video, we're taking a closer look at the INMO Go smart glasses. Now recently we checked out a couple of pairs of AR or augmented reality glasses, but most of those are essentially portable monitors that you can wear, having a OLED screen, compared to this actually has a built-in battery and it's completely wireless. You're using it kind of like a smartwatch because you're able to see notifications privately in front of you, use it as a teleprompter if you're trying to give speeches or presentations. There is no wire that needs to be tethered to your phone or computer for it to work. It just operates via Bluetooth and also has the ability for you to ask questions, connecting to ChatGPT, for example, as well as being able to listen to music. In fact, you can even answer incoming calls with it directly as well, like a Bluetooth headset. So instead of only being worn for shorter durations and watching videos, this model is designed more for casual everyday wearing, providing you with any critical notifications. Even translation is built into the glasses, again designed for on-the-go use. So instead of the packaging here, we have a case for the glasses themselves, and we also have access just to a quick user guide, plus on the edge here there's going to be a charging cable, which is using standard USB Type-C. And the glasses themselves have a 220 milliamp hour capacity battery, so it is going to be rather lightweight at only 52 grams. Kind of impressive considering all the extra tech and components inside that it still is relatively light. From the perspective of endurance though, that battery will last roughly half a day in most scenarios, although it does depend on the brightness of the screen, which can go all the way up to 2000 nits if you're outdoors using micro LED optics. That being said, in less than 20 minutes, you're able to charge these over 80%. So if you're having a lunch break midday, you can always just charge it up for a couple of minutes and you're ready to go again. That being said, it would be nice to have a power bank or an extra battery bank built into the case to give you an extra top-up. You can use any standard power bank yourself since it is using just standard USB Type-C, but just something to keep in mind. Now this case itself also interestingly can fold completely down, making it almost completely flat if you want to slide it into a backpack and take up less space when the glasses aren't inside, but it locks into place using magnets relatively well and having a soft touch finish on the inside to prevent against scratching, and the left and right compartments here also tempered with a little bit of metal. Taking a closer look at the design of the INMO Go glasses next, as alluded to earlier, it's relatively light with a polycarbonate plastic frame, and in most angles you aren't able to tell that they have any kind of special display at all unless you're tilting them at the light just right, and you can kind of tell there's a special prism section on the glass, which is where the kind of micro LEDs are able to be reflected onto, but otherwise it's still going to be completely see-through and you're able to still engage with the world around you in a pretty natural and unobtrusive way. So here's one more extreme angle where we can see some of that reflective glass there in motion. A couple of other specs: this display is technically 30 degrees field of view, but since it's mostly just showing you text information, instead of being used for watching videos, it's still mostly comfortable enough. So the emphasis here will be on text, which is why it's a monochrome green screen, kind of like a heads-up display. It'll be interesting to see if there are color micro LED screens created in the future using a similar type of technology, but this is what we have at the moment. Now the glasses are relatively, again, comfortable, with the temples also being able to flex slightly, and we have just the in-air logo here on the left-hand side. And down below you also find some of the controls. On the left there's also going to be a power key as well as the USB Type-C port for charging. We have the built-in loudspeakers on both the left and the right sides when you are listening to music or speaking with a virtual assistant. And located on the right-hand side is going to be a function button for turning the screen on or off. And over here there's also a touchpad region, which allows you to swipe up and down, tap once to select things, as well as double and triple tap to skip back and forth between music tracks that you're listening to, in addition to holding for slightly longer for controlling play and pause for music. So overall, it's a fairly intuitive and comfortable enough design in my opinion. It just connects to your phone using a pretty up-to-date Bluetooth 5.3, also does feature a built-in 3-axis accelerometer, as well as electronic compass as part of the sensors. That being said, two things that are lacking would be any built-in cameras of any kind. Perhaps it's a good thing in the sense of privacy, but as a result, these can't be really used as camera glasses. If you want to snap an image or record video at eye level, you may have to look at a different model. These are much more lightweight, streamlined to provide you with the core functionality. And also, these don't come with support for an optional remote or any smart ring, which you can wear on your finger, which can potentially be used for navigation and controlling the glasses. Again, since these are relatively simple and straightforward, all of those are baked directly into the temples with the touchpad as well as function button. Last but not least, when it comes to the hardware, there's also a LED status light next to the power button. Red, green, orange to indicate different status, like if the battery is low, if it's charging, or if it's blue, it's currently not connected to the phone. And something else to keep in mind is, like many other smart glasses and AR glasses we've seen previously, if you are nearsighted or farsighted, you're wearing prescription lenses yourself. You can pick up a customized version of the glasses with myopia correction to the lens, so getting them prescribed to see more clearly. And also using a mannequin here for demonstration purposes, here's what the glasses look like. So maybe just the edges are a touch larger to support that optical waveguide lens, essentially a small projector that then gets diffracted on the prism of the glass here. But really aside from this edge, it still is a pretty seamless design, again relatively comfortable when it comes to the weight as well as the fit, especially since the aesthetic of these thicker rimmed glasses do seem to be making a bit of that resurgence in having that kind of retro look. So not that bad, I would say. Now taking a closer look at the menu and what the experience is like next. Tapping to turn it on, you can see the display just pops there into view, and we have that aforementioned monocular display for reading text. So the brightness here can also be adjusted, making it brighter versus dimmer, and you can see it's telling us to connect to the app, compatible with both iOS as well as Android devices. And jumping on in, we'll tap on the INMO Go here. There's also a tutorial going through the same command keys that we mentioned there earlier, accessing permission settings on your phone to make sure that the app can, again, push notifications over to the glasses. Afterwards, from this main page, we can trigger voice translation or dialogue translation modes. With voice translation, it's more of a one-way transcription. So if you're watching a movie or listening to a lecture or a business presentation in a foreign language, you'll be able to see everything displayed in English, for example, line by line. The touchpad of the glasses can also be used to pause and resume the microphone for picking up sound. So right now we're starting to speak, and we can see the sentences appear in front of me. Also, a copy is preserved on the phone screen as well, using the microphone from the glasses. And this is what it looks like through the glasses here. You can see the text again appear in real time. So I would say it's working well enough. It does seem to kind of hover in space in front of you as you're still engaging with the world around you. And to better illustrate this, we can also choose a different language. Currently there's 11 on this list, including Chinese, Japanese, French, Spanish, Korean, Russian, German, Italian, Vietnamese, Cantonese, and Thai. So hopefully this list continues to expand in the future, also perhaps with certain dialects. However, the main languages can be found here. Let's try Spanish, for example. Esto es una prueba, uno, dos, tres.
Bueno, aquí es una prueba más. Allowing us to see both the Spanish as well as the English down below in this kind of split screen view. So again, we're able to just tap there to begin and pause the microphones when it comes to this particular mode.
Could also be helpful if you're watching a foreign film or movie without subtitles, and you can generate that yourselves. In fact, let's give that a shot, playing back a recording in Spanish.
Por si quieres que compre algo. Había pensado en comprar 2 barras de pan para el desayuno, unos tomates, unas cebollas, y lo que no sé es si quedan patatas.
So that was a pretty quick passage, but I was able to recognize, I think, most of it. When it comes to the translated result, it's saying, come on, one thing, I'm going to the supermarket in case you want me to buy something. I thought about buying 2 loaves of bread for breakfast, some tomatoes. If you need anything, write me a message or call me, because I'm going to go now. So I would rate this at around 95% accuracy, really not bad, getting most of the punctuation. When it comes to sentence structures, periods, commas, questions are all represented here. Now maybe only one thing is if there is a really long montage like that, and there are too many lines, you'll see things scroll really quickly past you. But when you're reviewing things later on, you're able to scroll back and forth a little bit more comfortably. You can tap on the settings gear here to change the brightness of the screen. Again, at 2000 nits, it is bright enough even if you're using it in daytime. You can also choose whether you want the microphone pickup to be done through the glasses or from the phone, as well as an option to show both the translated text as well as the original text. If you want both languages displayed, it will split the screen. Back onto the main screen, you'll also see a history of all the translations and transcriptions for you to reference later on, revisiting previous dialogues. So again, the overall context of the translation seemed to be decent. You get the main gist of what the person is trying to say. Now we can also try the dialogue mode. This is for back and forth conversations instead of only from one side. Bueno, aquí es una prueba. I'm also going to try speaking in English now.
También voy a intentar hablar en inglés.
So as shown there, the microphone is picking up the other speaker in Spanish and showing you the English result, which you can hear through the glasses and see, but then you're able to tap and speak in English, and there's going to be the translated result on the phone screen, which will also be using the phone speaker to play out loud for the other person. And so two languages can be spoken back and forth, having a natural conversation from left and right side. And maybe only one UI aspect that hasn't been fully optimized here is, even though we're in the English version of the app, it's saying that from my side, the character is still using Chinese instead of the English spelling me. So I think there has to be still a little bit of translation work done, since I suspect the app was originally created in Chinese for that particular market, and now they're releasing it internationally. So still a couple of minor quirks or bugs to further iron out there. But overall, the real-time translation modes are functional, both with the back and forth conversations and the single-sided modes. Also, tapping on the menu key here allows us to check out a few more settings from the glasses. For example, a wear detection mode. So using those built-in sensors, it can detect if you're wearing them to turn on the screen, and if not, maybe to time out to consume a little more power. And then the next tab over is going to be the teleprompter, which you are able to start a new one or edit previous ones. Again, type it out with your keyboard or copy and paste from other documents. What I've typed on the screen will start to mirror over onto the glasses, so we'll see more in a moment. Now you can also tell that at the right angle, again very specifically if you're pointing it here just right, you can kind of tell there are some of the characters scrolling across. So it's not 100% invisible, but it is inverted, making it much more difficult to read for someone on the other side. So it's not too easy to see, but under the right circumstances, you can still make out that there might be something a little unusual here of these glasses, but that's just how these waveform optics function. Now, the teleprompter also allows you to change the font size if you want it to be smaller versus larger for better reading, as well as if you want it to be shown either in the top half, the bottom half of the screen, as well as if you want extra spacing between the words, that can be chosen.
So here's what that teleprompter mode will look like. So this can be a pretty powerful aid if you're maybe recording a video, giving a speech at a conference. You want some basic talking points just right there without obviously holding onto a phone. And using the touchpad, you're also able to scroll up and down through the page-by-page section of your teleprompter notes, as you can tell there. Also, a quick demo through the other font sizes. Again, small allows you to see more within the vision at once, versus getting progressively larger and larger to make it easier to see, but less can fit into the display. And here's also going to be the top half versus bottom half versus the sparse spacing, and also the full screen size. Now there's also an automatic mode here, which basically will play back the entire text. So if you've timed everything correctly, you don't have to tap on the touchpad using that gesture more deliberately to move, but instead it will automatically flick through, for example, after X seconds.
So that's actually quite powerful. And over here, you're also able to click on an upload icon if you have other notes in a text file format that you want to upload and use instead of typing them out in that notepad. The final two tabs here, though, are mostly tutorials as well as user guides if you have any questions, since the music tab here is just telling you how to connect the glasses via Bluetooth, and then you just play back any song from YouTube, Spotify, whatever, local on your device, and it will come out from the glasses just like on Bluetooth headphones. So really it's the translation and teleprompter tabs, the first two, that are going to be providing you with some of the extra functionality through this app. And now demoing the built-in speaker quality of the glasses here, using them as wireless headphones. Let's pop it closer to the mic. So yeah, I can confirm that the sound quality is also not shabby for these open, kind of air conduction style headphones. There is going to be some ambient awareness, so you're still going to be able to know if there's someone passing you by, since the drivers fit outside the ear canal. So it's not going to give you active noise cancellation, but you do get that stereo effect, but not bad for listening to some casual music or watching videos with. Here's what the main UI of the glasses look like. So from this main screen, you're able to see the time information, battery status,
and you are able to jump into the translation mode just by touching the touchpad there on the side. So just like a smartwatch, you're able to operate the glasses using those buttons and gestures once you are paired to your phone, and also long holding on the function key to trigger the AI assistant powered by ChatGPT. So now this is a quick example of the AI assistant So as shown there, overall it's not bad. Again, it's still connected to your phone to get the data information, but taking just a split second there to generate. It does take a moment longer though for the text to be read back out loud. The text there shows up first, but overall not bad. What should I do in Seattle over the weekend? And in this example, it's created a travel plan or itinerary of synthesizing information available online. Not bad. And you can still scroll up and down using the touchpad there if you're trying to read through longer replies, as you can see there, to move up and down through the entire list. Please create a poem talking about the beauty of springtime. Interestingly, the AI assistant can also control things like the brightness of the screen. As shown in the example here, you can control some of the hardware of the glasses, so some of these abilities seem merged with traditional ChatGPT, which is responsible for searching the web and answering your questions.
So that is more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the INMO Go smart glasses. Again, it's pretty cool to see smart glasses and AR take off more and more. Now we're reaching a state where devices like these are quite lightweight and comfortable while offering some of the notification, assistant, translation, and music capabilities. That being said, one function that is missing on these, curiously enough, would be navigation. So even if you could use connected GPS from your phone and still see a partial map view or maybe an arrow of where to turn left and right, if you're cycling, for example, on a bike, that could be another pretty interesting application of a heads-up display product like this. Perhaps we'll see this in future revisions or potential software updates, but it is something to keep in mind. So this model in particular is a little bit more stripped back, providing you with just some of those essential functions in a slightly more lightweight frame. So let me know in the comments down below, are you guys interested in a concept like these, or do you think the AR video type glasses that we've seen previously draws your attention more? Could these two types of products be possibly merged together at some point, or do you think they make sense as separate products, one for casual everyday wearing, the other for specific instances where you're looking for a monitor? Feel free to share your thoughts down below. You can check out more details if you're interested in this in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the pretty interesting INMO Go smart glasses.